Welcome to the deep dive. We're jumping into the material you sent over today. Specifically, we're looking at excerpts about Lesson 232 from A Course in Miracles workbook.
That's right. And our goal here, our mission for this deep dive, is really to unpack what these sources are telling us about the lesson's core message. And crucially, how they suggest we actually, live it day to day. We're getting into that central request, be in my mind, my Father, through the day.
Welcome to Daily Harmony.
So the fundamental idea here, based on your sources, is really the importance, the profound importance, actually, of consciously choosing to invite and keep that connection with the divine going all day long.
All day, not just in specific quiet times.
Exactly. It's not just about having those dedicated spiritual moments, though they're valuable, of course. It's more about weaving that awareness into the very fabric of your day. Your work, the conversations you have, the decisions you make, even just routine stuff.
Okay, so it's like aiming for a constant state of awareness, not just checking in periodically. That sounds like it requires real commitment, like continuous effort, doesn't it?
Absolutely. The material really emphasizes this. It's framed as a daily practice. It needs consistent intention. And that phrase, be in my mind, my Father, it's not presented as just a passive hope like, oh, I hope God's with me. No, it's an intentional act, a deliberate, active request that you are making.
Okay. You're actively opening the door, so to speak, moment by moment.
Precisely. You're choosing to welcome that presence into your thoughts, into your awareness again and again.
Right. So let's dig into the why. Why is this constant connection presented as so important in the sources? Why keep this active all the time? What's the big deal?
Well, the sources point to several really key benefits, key reasons why this continuous connection matters so much. One fundamental point is that it's seen as essential for keeping the awareness of your true relationship with the divine, well, alive and vibrant. Without that conscious effort, that awareness can just kind of fade into the background.
Yeah.
Right? With all the distractions of the world.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's easy to forget who you really are or that connection to something bigger when you're just, caught up in the day-to-day grind.
Exactly. And this ongoing awareness, it acts like a constant inner compass. It's a reminder to actively seek guidance. When you consciously invite that presence in, you naturally start turning towards that inner wisdom, which helps you stay in what the sources call a state of grace.
A state of grace, like
Yeah.
a state of alignment, maybe. Peace, receptivity.
Yeah, I think that captures it, a state where you're open to divine direction, where things feel more like they're flowing instead of...
Instead of you constantly pushing uphill, trying to force everything.
Right. And by keeping that channel open, you allow what the sources term divine influence to genuinely shape your thoughts and your perceptions and ultimately your actions too throughout the day. And this is where the material suggests a really significant shift can happen.
Yeah.
It's a move away from relying only on your own limited understanding, the ego's way of controlling things,
Yeah.
towards a much deeper reliance on a higher power.
Okay, so it's less about, I need to figure this all out myself, and more about tuning into a different source of guidance.
Yes, exactly. And here's where it gets really transformative, according to the sources. This practice apparently has the power to fundamentally transform your perception, how you see the world, even how you see yourself.
Really? How so?
By sort of filtering your experience through this lens of divine connection, how you view challenges changes, how you interact with other people can shift, how you understand your own identity can deepen and change quite profoundly.
Wow.
It's like swapping out a foggy, scratched lens for one that's crystal clear and maybe bathed in light.
Okay, so it's not just an internal feeling change. It actually shifts the reality you perceive and how you engage with it. What's the practical day-to-day outcome the sources talk about?
The practical lived result that's really emphasized is cultivating inner peace and clarity. Even when you're right in the middle of the busyness, the challenges that life inevitably throws your way, this connection becomes like an anchor. It provides a steady center no matter what's swirling around externally.
Inner peace and clarity. Incredibly valuable. But okay, how does someone actually do this? The idea of keeping the divine in mind all day, it can feel a bit, daunting, maybe abstract. Do the sources give us concrete steps?
Yeah.
Practical things?
Oh, absolutely. The
Yeah.
material you shared isn't just theory, not at all. It gives very clear practical examples for how you can weave this intention right into your daily routine. It's about bringing that sense of devotion into your thoughts, your actions, making mindfulness a real spiritual practice throughout the day.
Okay, lay them on us. How can we make this tangible?
All right, first off, there's the idea of starting your day with a very deliberate morning intention. This means taking a moment right when you wake up for a specific prayer or affirmation, explicitly inviting that divine presence in for the day ahead. The example given in the sources is simple but powerful. I welcome the presence of God in my mind today.
Hmm.
It just sets the stage, a conscious choice to align yourself right from the start.
Starting the day with that conscious invitation. Hmm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. What about during the day?
Then it suggests integrating mindfulness breaks.
Hmm.
Little pauses sprinkled throughout your day. Doesn't have to be long, maybe just a moment. Closing your eyes, taking a deep breath perhaps. And the purpose. It's to step back from whatever you're doing, just briefly reconnect, remember that intention,
Mhm.
and consciously invite divine guidance into the specific situation you're in right then.
So like if you're facing a tricky conversation or a tough decision.
Exactly. Or even just feeling overwhelmed, you hit pause on the doing for a second, tune back into being with that presence, and ask for help right there in the middle of things.
Bringing the presence right into the practical stuff. I like that.
Precisely. And then, rounding out the day, the sources suggest an evening reflection, taking some time at the end of the day to just review the hours that passed.
What's the focus there?
The goal is to recall moments where you did feel that connection, that presence. Maybe notice how it might have influenced your thoughts or actions. And also, maybe gently notice times where you forgot, where you could have been more mindful. It's not about judgment, but about reinforcing the practice for tomorrow.
Okay, those are great ways to integrate it into the daily flow, morning, breaks, evening. Now, the sources also mention specific exercises. How are those different? Are they separate things?
Yeah, they seem to be presented more as um, dedicated tools or methods you can use to actively cultivate and deepen the connection. Maybe things you do outside the immediate flow of activity, or perhaps apply more intentionally during certain activities. They're more like active training for the mind.
Got it. Active tools. What kind of exercises did the material outline?
Okay, one is a visualization exercise. The force suggests imagining a light, maybe a radiant light, that represents God's presence. You'd visualize this light surrounding you, filling the room maybe, and then specifically imagine it entering your mind, your heart.
Using imagery.
Exactly. The purpose is to use your imagination to help make that presence feel more tangible, more real internally, to see it, feel it as this guiding light as you go about your day.
Makes sense. What else?
Another tool mentioned is journaling. This is about writing about your daily experiences, but with a specific focus on this dimension of divine presence. So you might reflect on challenges you faced and how you felt, or maybe sought divine guidance in navigating them.
So processing your life through that spiritual lens.
Yes. It makes the connection very personal, something you can actually observe in your own life. It can bring real insights, as you said earlier.
Yeah, I can see that. Any others?
And the third key exercise described is affirmation practice. This involves creating and then regularly repeating specific affirmations, short statements that reinforce your conscious desire to keep God in your mind.
A bit like the morning intention, but maybe used more often or in specific situations.
Yes, that's a good way to put it. The source gives an example like, with God's presence, I am at peace. The core idea, again, is repetition. Repeating these statements helps strengthen your intention. It helps, sort of reprogram habitual thought patterns and actively align your moment-to-moment thinking with that desired divine presence.
Cultivating devotion and thought through conscious repetition. So, okay, we've got the core intention, the practical ways to weave it through the day, morning breaks, evening, bringing it into conversations, decisions, routines, and then these dedicated exercises, visualization, journaling, affirmations to actively deepen it. It really does feel like a comprehensive approach, something that impacts both your inner world, your thoughts, and your outer world, your actions.
It absolutely does. That
Yeah.
seems to be the message. By consciously allowing that divine influence in, letting it inform your thoughts and shape your actions, you're engaging in a truly transformative practice. And it keeps coming back to that fundamental shift the sources talk about,
Yeah.
that move towards reliance on a higher power, which they directly link to experiencing more profound inner peace and clarity in your life.
Yeah, it's presented almost like a blueprint, isn't it, for living a life where the spiritual isn't some separate category, but it's just fully integrated into the everyday.
That really captures the essence of what this material seems to convey about Lesson 232. It's a powerful call, yes, but also a very active one, to continuously invite and then live from that awareness of God's presence in every single moment.
And it's clear this isn't just wistful thinking. It's something you actively cultivate through that intention, through practical steps like the morning intention, those mindfulness breaks right in the thick of things, the evening reflection, and those dedicated exercises like visualization, journaling, and using affirmations. The sources present this practice as having real power, power to transform how you see things, bring deep peace, and genuinely guide how you think and act day to day.
It really offers a pathway, doesn't it, to make that conscious connection a living reality, infusing devotion and mindfulness into every part of your experience.
Absolutely. And as we wrap up this deep dive into the material you provided us with, it really leaves us echoing that core reflection question posed within the sources themselves. It's something for the listener to really consider. How can I cultivate a deeper awareness of God's presence in my daily life? And what specific actions can I take starting today, maybe, to align my thoughts and behaviors with this divine influence?